Hello and welcome to a victorious, yet another undefeated episode of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour, an Austin-based San Antonio Spurs podcast. Fellas, I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm good. My name is Tom Petrini. I'm here with my friends Aaron Blackerby. Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Want to just give a shout out to everyone that has subscribed to the podcast. Our day ones, to our new folks. We're excited you're here. Thank y'all for getting us to 1,000. Let's go crush 2 and keep telling your friends and your enemies.
Zach Montana. Zach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Speaking of 1,000, I got to announce a winner. Eli Crushing Souls, congratulations.
Eli!
Statement,
Nice.
Jordan Wembanyama jersey coming your way. DM us your address and I guess your jersey size, because I don't want to get you like a medium that doesn't fit or a small. I want it to be crisp and being used. So congratulations. I'm also doing great, boys. Spurs are undefeated. Cool, crisp air outside. Can't complain at all.
It's been nice. And Eli, if you want it to be a sleep shirt, like whatever. We're not here to judge. We're just here to like
You send me the size and I'll make the order.
And
Yeah.
Eli has been rocking with us from the very beginning.
He's an A1 day one.
We've met him at several Austin Spurs. He might want a David Jones Garcia. I don't know. We might
Sorry, the giveaway was specifically
He did
a
say
statement Victor Wembanyama jersey, because I will also be buying one for myself.
you're
So
getting
it'll be a 2-for-1 purchase.
Okay,
So you're
cool.
getting a Wemby statement.
I am.
If you were to get a jersey right now of any Spurs player, who are you getting, Tom?
It's a good question. I don't have a Wemby. I should probably get a Wemby. But like, I don't know. Like I like doing weird offbeat shit. Maybe get a Lindy Waters. You know.
Oh, you're going that deep cut. Okay.
Yeah.
I
You're
like
going
that.
that deep in the waters,
I don't
is
know.
that what they're saying?
But like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, and you guys are getting to understand this as well. But especially with this team, there's the Wemby of it all can be all encompassing, and you know, I don't know. I got tremendous respect for all. I might need to get a Keldon Johnson jersey.
I have a Keldon.
I might need a Keldon.
I have the white Fiesta Keldon.
Yeah. What about you? I know you were. This was heavy on your mind when we were at the game.
It is. Man, I'm still going back and forth between Harper and Castle. And after the first couple of games between like that Pelicans game and that Nets game, which we'll get to here shortly, he was really the spark plug for the team of like keeping those games alive and like putting them away. And then this Miami game, like Stephon Castle, despite his free throw woes, is still like putting up 20 points a game and like hitting, like I saw some stat last night that was like he's shooting 80% at the rim. I was like, well, he's getting fouled a lot, so those don't count. But still, I was like, that's incredible. So with all that being said, the jury's still out. I think lean Harper at the moment for like my statement, but then depending on what the city is, maybe I'll go Castle. I think I'm going to diversify out of Wemby. I have 4 Wemby jerseys already.
I mean, it's a blue chip stock.
Yeah.
You know?
The issue with mine is I washed it too many times, so I lost the number on the back of my Wemby jersey. You made a comment about
Damn.
that years ago about, yo, don't do that. I did it and I messed up, so I just go buy another jersey. It's all good. I'll support the boy. It's all good.
One pro tip, 2 pro tips on jerseys. 1 pro tip, first and foremost, when you're washing it inside out, always wash it inside out. If you are going to dry it inside out. What's better? Air dry. And it's so hot in Texas. This is very easy. I put my jerseys literally on top of my grill cover in my backyard, and the sun just like cooks them. Like, great, we're good to go. Speaking of good to go, though, let's jump into games. We got high praise, we got questions.
We actually got one thing before that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
As your resident Austin-based Spurs podcast, the Spurs announced yesterday that for select games in San Antonio, they'll be doing shuttle buses from Austin down to San Antonio to the games. The quote that jumped out to me from this was, This is an early iteration of a pilot program meant to test interest, and more games may be added next season if demand calls for it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool for Austin-based Spurs folks such as ourselves. We got to get on some of those buses. I know the bus back will probably be late, but like, you know, we got to get some people on some of those buses and get like a Subway Takes style, get our Austin
man.
fans.
It'd be a lot better being stuck in traffic with a bunch of people than stuck in
I'm
traffic
saying.
by yourself, which is what we've had to deal with. So
Yeah.
put me on that bus.
Hell yeah. All right, with that,
I think that's a good point, Tom.
yeah, let's get into some games, shall we?
Yeah.
We were all at that Nets home opener. Really, really fun game. Really awesome atmosphere. Zach, you got this one. What were some of your takeaways?
The Spurs were up 25 midway through the third quarter, and we thought this game was going to be over with. And then the Nets decided to hit 5 threes in the third quarter, all from the left side of the court, which is very interesting to see the shot chart. It's also interesting to see the shot chart in the fourth quarter when the Nets did not want to go to the paint at all because I guess Victor Wembanyama was back on the court. Only 3 attempts inside the paint the whole fourth quarter. So that should tell you the Spurs really ramped up the defense and are really trying to get into making teams shoot from the perimeter and beat them from shooting perimeter shots. What I really noticed is Dylan Harper spark off the bench. The team needed it deep in the fourth quarter. And who was the guy? Dylan Harper, once again. Electric energy, fast, downhill, 20 points, 29 minutes played in his home opener, or really debut for the city of San Antonio, which was fantastic to see. Also had 8 assists. That's a true point guard, getting things done, getting downhill. Once he gets in front of you, once he gets those hips in front of you, good luck stopping him. You can't. He can go right, he can go left, he can go up and under, he can hit you in that game against the Nets. Stop, pump faked, nice little rotation turn. I mean, this guy was finishing all and ones. Dylan Harper was, I think, my stud of the game. Victor was obviously 31 points. What can you do? I mean, we're just going to keep saying his name when we talk basketball. That's the way it should be. But those 2 guys really stood out to me that game. What do y'all have?
Well, I mean, that game was so far away. We're just going to jump into now, like, Raptors. There's been so much happening in Spurs world, and who knew from last season and the season even before and the season before that we were going to be such the center of the basketball universe. So I want to jump into the Raps game, which, once again, for Wembanyama to have his most efficient game where he only missed 1 shot. He went 7 of 8 from the field. And Harrison Barnes, welcome back to the party where you just went off from the perimeter. Some other things that we're still needing to see. Stephon Castle shooting close to 50% from free throws in this game, but still attacking the game. I did bring up in our last episode about the Spurs' woeful free throw percentage. In this game, they shot 83%. One thing you'll notice from this week compared to last week, I think last week we were at 65% from free throws. This week, after 3 games, up to 73%. So starting
Thank
to
God.
hit those shots more
I don't have to
again.
hear my dad call me and say, free throws.
They're free points.
Yeah.
One other thing, once again, this was a great win. This was the first wire-to-wire win. The Spurs scored the first points, never let up the lead from the entire game. And I got to shout out Devin Vassell. He has really been a rock on the defensive end. And further, he's got to be I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but he's got to be like our best 3-point shooter overall from the amount of attempts and makes that he's making. I think he's done great. The last interesting stat here, Tom, you also tweeted about this after the game. The Raptors only had 20 rebounds in this entire game. This has only happened, well, let me see here, 9 times in the history of the NBA has a team only gotten 20 rebounds. This is why they played sloppy, I think, and that third quarter especially was when the Spurs took it away, and we basically won the rebound ratio on a 2-1. So when you're just getting more opportunities at the basket, you win. Tom, I'm going to hand it over to you because you got to go see Spurs franchise history on Thursday night at the game against the Heat. And, in this Raptors game, it was like, you're 4-0. And then in the presser, they're like, Vic, have you know the team's never gone 5-0 to start the season. He's like, really?
I knew I was in there, and they made that comment. You could tell the curiosity in his mind was, he was like, another record for me to go break.
And Vic, of course, is the only guy who's going to come out and say like, "Oh yeah, we're going for that," and admit that it's a thing that they're thinking about. The other guys did after the game, right? They were like, "Yes, we were aware of this. We were thinking about this." Vic is the guy who's going to say, "Let's go out and get it." Dude, you mentioned the rebounds thing, and since we're talking about history, 9 times in like NBA history, not like modern era, like
Right.
like it happened in a game with George Mikan, when they before the shot clock, crazy. But
Funny enough, with that stat, it happened twice in the 2013-2014 season. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it's been a very like very bizarre to like not.
You know
get
what
that many
else happened
rebounds.
2013-2014 season?
Ayo. But yeah,
Hold on. Bro, are you calling your fucking shot on this after 5 games?
I wasn't, no, because Jacob Toby also did it on the broadcast and said the first
okay,
other two
okay.
teams to start off 5-0 the last 3 seasons have been in the finals. So Jacob, it's on you. It's not on me. I'm just hopping on the bandwagon.
Okay. I'm like, whoa.
so I mean, we may be getting ahead of ourselves, but let's do that because being in the building for that 5-0 start for the 5-0 start for the first time in franchise history, that's kind of shocking, right? That's surprising. You wouldn't expect that for a team with as storied a history as the Spurs. What you would expect is that the Spurs are the only team this decade, in the 2020s, that did not have a 5-game win streak at any point. They got that off their back.
Rough stuff.
We're allowed to celebrate it. That's why it's like, it's not just like, it's like there's a lot of things that go into just, hey, yeah, this team should celebrate these wins.
I don't think that, I mean, are we talking about like some internet straw
No,
man
no,
or
just
anything
saying
here,
just
or,
in
like-
general, like just like this should be celebrated as like a team, as an organization.
Absolutely, man. I want them to keep building this confidence and keep growing. This is still an incredibly young team.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that young teams, based on the Thunder winning the championship last year, could thrive. We know that teams with depth in this day and age of the NBA can thrive. There are a lot of boxes in a short amount of time that this team is checking. And on top of Wemby being officially a top 5 player. And the only reason anyone else who is reluctant right now to put him in that is because of the playoff resumes of the other players. Mm-hmm. But it's undeniable in these first 5 games, between him and Giannis, it's like that's neck and neck in like MVP race.
Let me get through sort of the nuts and bolts of this game, because it was a very, like, even absent of context, this was a really interesting basketball game. And we'll get to the context later, but the Heat offense is crazy. Molly Morrison did a really good breakdown of, like, they're not running anything. They're just running. They're not setting screens. They get the rebound. They push the pace. They attack whatever transition or semi-transition defensive state that the other team is in. They read and react. They move. They actually had Bam Adebayo on, like, the Prime broadcast last night.
Yeah, this was great.
I've never seen anything like that.
Do you know who else was on the Prime broadcast last night?
Udonis Haslem.
We're 4 weeks in a row now. AB is just going to find a way to keep this streak going
The
all
Spurs
season.
are on a win streak, and we are on a mentioning Udonis Haslem streak.
I thought he did great on that broadcast, by the way.
But like, fast-paced read and react offense. I got to ask Mitch about this, and it was very different than when you would ask Greg Popovich about what another team is doing, and he'd be like, "I don't watch the film." Mitch was very, forthcoming about the details of what Miami does and the challenges. But coming into the game, I was like, you've got this unstoppable force of one of the highest powered offenses in the league that's doing something different, and you got the immovable object of the Spurs defense around Victor Wembanyama. What is that read and react offense going to look like when they run into that monkey wrench? And it took about a half for the Spurs to figure it out. Then they came out in the third quarter and held one of the league's most high-powered offenses to 14 points. Not only is that the lowest scoring quarter of the Miami Heat's season, it's the lowest scoring quarter of the Miami Heat season by 10. They just shut them down. And in the first half of that game, I'm watching, and, you know, Wemby was putting up good numbers. He was playing well. But I'm watching him, I'm like, man, he doesn't look like his, like, world-beating nuclear kaiju self, right? Like, guys were sneaking shots past him in the paint. He didn't have a block until the third quarter. And then he put up 5 blocks in the span of essentially 12 minutes of play from the third quarter into the fourth. Shut him down. And down the stretch in this game, big shots. Devin, Dylan, Castle was fantastic.
Wemby dagger from three.
Wemby dagger from three. And that one, like, when the crowd could see he was open and crowd started buzzing at that, you know? Ball hits his hand, it gets a little louder. Ball's in the air, everybody's waiting, and it goes. And there's this, like, it felt like a watershed moment for the franchise, right? It felt like a real turning point. And I know that sounds a little dramatic. I know it's 5 games in, but to get that 5-game winning streak, to figure out how to close for the 5th game in a row on against the best team that they've played so far this year, it felt like a pretty definitive slamming the door shut on all of the hard times that got this team to this place.
Well, can I add to that? The final 5.5 minutes, the Spurs had 3 offensive rebounds, 2 leading to threes, 1 leading to a Victor Wembanyama free throw at the end of the game. Devin Vassell on the ground, diving for loose balls, led to that Victor Wembanyama three you're talking about. Devin Vassell jumping out of bounds, throwing the ball inbounds to save it to get the Spurs' second chance to get Victor Wembanyama to seal the game. This team is making extra effort plays, dog plays to win games. Those 8 points, Spurs win by 7.
Dev was asked about those sort of hustle plays after the game, and he was like, honestly, tired of losing. You know, I've been through enough film studies. I've seen enough plays where I didn't dive on the floor. You know, and we're just not letting that happen.
I mean, you can
anymore.
see the impact it leads to, right? I mean, you make those plays with Victor hits a 3. You make those plays, Harrison Barnes to 3 in the corner. You make those plays, Steph Castle. Like, there's results showing, and I think Victor made a comment saying it's great to see the results. You know, we can go and do the hard work and not get wins, but we're putting the hard work in and getting wins, and it shows. And that, for a young team, that's results matter too.
Well, I agree with y'all, and we're already trending in this direction, but I do think it's time for us to do high praise.
Hallelujah.
Welcome back, everyone. This is High Praise. Here, we have a lot to give away as far as High Praise goes, but we're always looking for the positives. We're also looking for the positives and the minutia. And sometimes we're looking at the positives in the most obvious ways. And
What's the opposite of minutia? Is it max-nutia?
yes, I believe when you take the Latin phrase "usha" and put min of minimo and maximum, you are able to create a max-nutia and minutia.
That is Latin 101 for y'all.
I actually took 3 years of Latin, and I do not remember
I took
shit.
2 years, but I don't remember shit either.
Yeah, like, whatever. Romance languages.
Next episode will be in a dead language. That's a promise.
Look, I'm going to go first on my high praise because, look, let's just go Occam's razor. Wemby is the sun. The Spurs and the entire basketball universe currently revolve around him. And part of that is because this man decided to go out and set his baseline standard against Anthony Davis with a 40-point game. And now we go like, oh, ho-hum, he only put up 27 points. He only missed 1 shot. Oh, he put up 31 points and like he had 5 blocks and a half. Like, ho-hum. And so when you see like his first, you're like, well, I know you're capable of that. But I'm just going to tell y'all right now, here's some stats just on where he currently stands. There's a lot of scoring in the league, so for him to be averaging 30 plus right now, he is in top 10 in scoring, but he's like 7th. Like Austin Reeves is going on a heater. We'll talk about him here in a little bit, but right now, Wemby's at 31 points per game. He leads the league in average rebounds at 14.6, just ahead of Jokic at 14.2, 2.8 assists, 1.5 steals, and 4.8 blocks a game. And rating third in PER, only behind Giannis Antetokounmpo and Luka Doncic. But guess what? Only one of those guys has played all 5 games, and his name is Victor Wembanyama. The last thing I want to bring in about Wemby that I started seeing this week, and I feel like I started seeing it in the Raptors game. We saw it a bit in the Nets game, and you saw it again, and you kind of described it. And I think he's doing something that the superstars of this league do. And the only way I can think about it is when I was a young boy and I would watch Bulls games on WGN. The Bulls back in the day, for anyone that like doesn't remember it, had a real big habit of knowing how great they were. And they would literally, the first half, play with their food. They would see what the team did, what they were trying to do, and they would come out in the second half, belt to ass, kick their ass. Wemby is starting to do that. And it is incredibly special. I'll just, an anecdote from when we all went to the game on Sunday. There was that 2 minutes left in the first half. He gets those 2 blocks, and then he decides, I'm shooting a 3. And Tom, to your point, in the arena, there are levels to this. There is the first block, and it's like, oh. And then there's a second one, I was like, oh. And then he gets, he's like, oh.
He has the ball, and it's like, oh, it's going up.
And it's
My favorite observation about the Wemby highlights is somebody was like, you'll see a ridiculous Wemby block and then realize there's 20 seconds left in the clip. It's Billy Mays, but wait, there's more,
Exactly. But like, he did the same thing in the Raptors game, was kind of like, okay, Colin Murray boils, I guess, like, try some things. And then he's just like, I'm shutting this shit down. Same thing in the Heat game. It was like, I don't have a block. I'm going to go get 5, like you said, Tom, in 12 minutes. I'm shutting this shit down. And there's not many players in the league that do that, and I don't think do it right now as vociferously as he does. I think Giannis maybe has a little bit of it, but Giannis doesn't have a 3-point in his bag. Jokic is kind of just like that silent assassin killer. I think SGA is like clutch, and he's a little bit more of just like, I can get off my shot whenever I want. Kind of saw that in that Houston game with him. But Wemby right now, he is ascending still. And the fact that he realizes the moment and the way he's playing is really special. I think, Zach, you like saw my face and I was like holding it. And I was like, oh my God. And you're like, what? And I was just like, we are so blessed to watch someone this good literally be in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Wemby, it's like a boxing match, right? And he's the guy who knows not only that he's not going to get knocked out in the first few rounds, but he's just figuring out the best way to do you in 8, 9, 10, right?
He had that bar after the Miami game where they were like, do you get tired of getting like dunked on or something? He's like, the day that happens is the day I get less blocks or something. He's like, and that day will never come.
Yeah. He's like, I'll stop going up there when they start dunking on me more than I'm blocking them. And then he pauses for a second and he goes, but none of us will live to this day. I tweeted out, like, he talks his shit so matter of fact, it's so French, it's so funny, and people were like, what's French about that? And like, I'm from New York, man, and all the French people I know are like blunt even to me, right? From my frame of reference. And when you're it could be about anything. If something's bad, if something's good. If something's as good as Wemby, they're just gonna tell it like it is, right? Even if it's him. And
to that point though, too, I was talking to some friends this week, and they were, asking about like Undefeated, and they're like, oh, are they like being like kind of cocky? And I was like, man, I've been in that press room I don't get the sense that anybody's cocky. I get the sense that they're competent. I also get the sense that to Mitch Johnson's point, and I keep coming back to this now, especially from Media Day, this team is in reflection of Victor. And that self-assuredness that Victor has is rubbing off on the team. We saw it with Keldon. We've seen it with Devin. Like, it's not cocky. They are confident that they're like, no, we belong here, but they are self-assured. So
It's the opposite of the they'll find a way to lose this game feeling that has enveloped this team for 5 years plus.
Well,
Yeah.
there was all 4 to 5 games this season. They've fumbled it, figured out how to way to win, and that's just like what you want to see as a young basketball team is how are you going to figure this out on the fly? No one's holding your hand, different ways to win, and you did it. 5-0.
Yep.
So Wemby is the obvious. I've got to give my high praise to. I'm not going to ever use the term supporting cast in here because I feel like that diminishes what all of these players do. The new guys, the young guys, and the grizzled vets who were young guys not too long ago. Castle and Harper. I mean, they haven't been perfect, but in the absence of De'Aaron Fox, they have each stepped up in their own special ways. They've shown what is going to make them special and important parts of this Spurs team moving forward. Dylan Harper won that Nets game.
He did.
For this team. It was crazy. We're sitting there watching it. That 26-point lead goes bye-bye in the blink of an eye. You start with the, here we go again. And you need a spark. You need stability. And like the person that I wanted that to be, the person who I was like, put him in, they need this, was the 19-year-old playing his first home game. It's crazy. He's so talented. He is so crisp. He looks most on balance when he's off balance. It's very Tony Parker. It's very Manu Ginobili. The leaning, the dexterous and just incredibly nuanced finishing ability is really, really incredible from him. And Castle, I mean, the turnovers have been a problem in the first few games, but he's stepping up. That game against the Heat, he was all over the place. 20 points, 8.
21
yeah.
the Heat game, yeah.
21, 8, and just 2 turnovers and like
4
dialing
steals.
it in. 4 steals all over the place. These are really key pieces for the Spurs.
Can I give y'all a quick piece of trivia that's not in the
Please.
run of show, but I want to ask
Pop
y'all.
quiz, yeah.
All right. It's multiple choice.
Okay.
All right.
My favorite type of quiz.
Wemby, Harper, Castle. Of the top 10 5-man lineups, who in those 3 leads in plus minus?
It's Harper.
I think it's Harper because Harper was plus 33 in that Nets game.
It's a trick question. It's all 3 of them. They are in.
Or is he all the above, dude?
Nah, dog.
Bastard, man.
All 3 of them are in the top 7 of 10 plus minus lineups
That's awesome.
for this team.
Crazy.
I think that has a lot to do with, well, not discrediting Castle or Harper, Wemby's gravity. And I go back to like this team following Wemby. I think this team is understanding like, hey, if Wemby's having a decent game, I'm going to get so many looks and I'm going to have so many opportunities to flourish within this offense. Of course, I'm going to be ready to shoot. Devin, all these guys that last year, like, no, they understand the role this year.
Devin gets yelled at if he doesn't take open shots. Yeah.
And on the gravity thing, there were a bunch of plays in that Heat game where Wemby's running a pick and roll with Castle, with Harper, and the Heat's help defense was coming from the corners on the other side of the court, on the
help side, weak side.
weak side. And Harper, there was one where he slung a skip pass over the top when that gravity went to Victor. Vic makes everybody's jobs easier for sure. But I mean, shout out to Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, man. Keldon has been absolutely spectacular this year. Devin has been playing his role. He's been, everything that the team needs those guys to be, they're being. And these are the guys who have been there for the 5 years without a 5-game win streak. They know how hard it is to do what this team just did. And when asked what's different this year, Keldon said the chemistry is off the charts. Devin said that the approach and attention to detail has been, what's setting this year apart. And both of them mentioned just the consistency and maturity that this team is showing, that they're embodying. And I think that all of that is a credit to not just them, but the coaching staff under Mitch Johnson. I know that's what you want to talk about here, Zach.
Yeah, the coaching staff, not just Mitch Johnson. You can just tell from down the line. I do want to mention first the energy that the coaching staff is showing on the sideline. We mentioned earlier that the Heat run this very get the ball, high pace offense. Well, the Spurs matched them on Friday night, and every time the Spurs got a rebound, who was yelling from the sideline to run? It was Mitch Johnson. You could get your ass moving. Let's go. We're good. We got places to be and points to score. Also, Sean Sweeney, you could tell just the fire he shows on the sideline. Offensive possession, defensive possession. He is up on his feet, yelling, hands up when they make a great play. It's honestly fantastic to see, and the numbers back it up. The best defensive efficiency in the league to start the season, holding teams at 45% from the floor. That's fantastic. Second in the league in blocks per team, 8.0 for the percentage for the team. So I mean, this team is playing with fire. They're with a fire lit under their ass. And I think Harrison Barnes made a comment the other day. They're funneling everything into Wemby, and they're figuring it out on the perimeter afterwards. And it's got a lot of pros and a little bit of cons. And I think the pros are showing their head right now.
So this last week, really interesting stat that kind of piggybacks on this with the coaching staff, Zach. The Spurs shot less than their opponents from the field, and they won every game. So it's not just about like putting up shots, it's about the right efficient shots on the offensive side of the ball. And it just reminds me, last year during that Phoenix game when KD was here, we were in the presser with him and he was looking over the box score. He's like, they just put up more shots than us. You get more shots, you typically win. And Kevin Durant, like, funny enough, brother, like, not on this one. So pretty fascinating.
One thing I want to add, something interesting that Mitch said the other day, was just the shift in sort of resources and personnel over the off season, right? Because he was basically like last season, circumstances changed, right? And then we didn't add staff. We all just, we had our responsibilities. We had our, everybody's a human being with limited time and energy, right? And so there was only so much that, could be done. And over the summer, they added a lot of staff. They added, a bunch of really talented assistant coaches, and that goes down the line, film room, basketball ops, and that has allowed them to pay more attention to the details that are swinging these games. And like I said before, it's interesting going into the San Antonio Spurs, head coach's pregame media availability. Somebody asks him about the opposing team, and he gives an answer about watching the film.
Yeah.
No shade ever to Greg Popovich, but that wasn't his style, right?
It's true.
And Mitch, of course, was very deferential to the history of the franchise when asked about this recent stretch and the historical part of it. He said it feels almost silly for him to read too much into that, just given the real success that this franchise, the more meaningful success that this franchise has had over its history. So doing it with a lot of nuanced attention to detail and also humility. So,
all right, obviously we're really hyped. We got some questions that always come from the week. I think specifically something dropped like last night about seeing everyone that's been on the bench being GTD or a game time decision. We originally heard from Don Harris after Media Day that De'Aaron Fox was looking to be coming back on the first week of November. Fellas, what day are we recording this?
The first day of November.
1-1-1.
So I would say we are in officially the first week of November here. So we're looking at De'Aaron Fox, Luke Cornett, Jeremy Sohan, Kelly Olynyk, Lindy Waters. This team is like going deep, and a third of it isn't even available at the moment. Shout out to Harrison Ingram and David Jones Garcia and Riley Minix holding it down in the victory cigar minutes, as well as Carter Bryant, and Bismack. Damn, man. So it's been necessary. But with that being said, we're assuming that De'Aaron Fox is coming back sooner rather than later, and maybe within the next week before we have our next show. Who do you guys think goes to the bench for the start in the starting lineup?
Zach.
I mean, it's between Julian and Harrison. I think what we saw on Friday against the Heat was, on Thursday, excuse me, was Harrison Barnes was actually playing legit minutes guarding Bam Adebayo. And so for me, I think that's where he flourishes more. Not to say Julian is lighter, but I think Harrison can guard up with the fours a little better. And if we're going to play the small ball lineup like they've been playing, I think it just naturally makes sense to take Julian out, let Harrison still space it in the corners, and maybe if there's opportunities to let Devin fill into the corners as well, because you mentioned how when teams are sliding on the pick and rolls, the corners are wide open on the weak side. Spurs have been attacking that. I think it's going to be Julian going to the bench.
AB, what about you?
I agree with Zach there. We're probably looking between Barnes and Champagnie. I also lean Champagnie probably going to the bench. And let me see, what are they shooting at? There was kind of an interesting stat just between their true shooting percentage right now. Harrison Barnes is a little bit above that at 59%. Julian Champagnie at 54%, according to StatsMuse. One thing, though, that will be interesting as these guys come in more, not just De'Aaron Fox, we'll hopefully see minutes reduction for a lot of people, including Wemby. He played
40 minutes the other
40
night.
minutes the other night against the Heat. We'll see hopefully a minutes reduction for those guys, and then have things more spaced out. So it's not just fresh legs, it's fresh energy coming constantly. It really makes me personally think about how OKC dealt with Alex Caruso last year. He didn't play a lot, and then they unleashed him, and they kind of minutes restricted him throughout the season, so he was ready to go for the playoffs. And this team looks like they're going to be a playoff ready team. Keep people fresh throughout the season. We don't have to do the Thibodeau run till your legs fall off type of thing. What do you got, Tom?
I'm with you guys. I think it's probably Champagnie goes to the bench first. It's the position that makes the most sense. I like what you said about HB's ability to guard up. But Julian is also a really good defender, and neither of these guys have shot the ball the way that we know that they can coming into this season and to start this season. So it might be a hot hand decision, if Julian starts to really go off, but ideally De'Aaron Fox is back as ASAP as possible.
Yeah.
So just where things stand right now is probably Julian going to the bench and HB staying in, but remains to be seen. It kind of gets us to our next question here, which is that I think this is an interesting one. Of all the players who are currently injured and now listed as game time decisions, who is the most important to come back soon? Aaron?
I'm going to go Cornett, even over De'Aaron Fox. The reason for that, Bismack, thank you for all that you do. You are also 6'8". I would love it if this goofy 7'2" white boy got back in there. This next week coming up, that double big French vanilla lineup will be very necessary against the Rockets. I personally think between Castle and Harper have been holding it down pretty well with bringing the ball up. Like you said, Tom, Stephon Castle's last game against the Heat was probably his best one, with only 2 turnovers, which is the big thing there. So as much as I think De'Aaron Fox does take this team to a whole nother level, I'm actually thinking more about raising the floor of the team rather than the ceiling with Cornette.
Zach, what about you?
I'm going to change my answer. I did have Fox on there, but I think it's going to be Sohan. I think bringing Sohan back.
Go off, King. I want to hear this.
Allows more front court coverage for these boys. Allows Mitch to run small ball, big ball. I think there's a bunch of opportunities for Sohan to make himself known on this team with what we've seen with Bismack and not having really a backup in Cornette. I think there's, until Cornette's back and Olynyk's back, there's going to be Mitch is going to go from, damn, I got to play Wemby 40 minutes to get to this game to, man, I could kill teams on this front court and just throw waves and waves of active players, big players, players that don't have any issues getting dirty on the glass. This is going to be good for offense and defensive rebounds with Sohan coming back.
I love both of these answers. Fox is the guy who takes this to the next level, right? Obviously, they invested in him in the trade and in the extension because they expect the Fox-Wemby pick and roll to be the best pick and roll duo in the league.
They don't. Fox does.
Absolutely. And I think that's an attainable goal. But right now, when you look at what is this team struggling with the most, you're right. Castle and Harper are sort of holding on to the rope. Are they as good as Fox? No, not yet. But they've really missed Cornette. They've really, really missed Cornette and his ability to replace the strength of Wemby at that 5 position with more strength. You know, we've talked so much on this podcast in the last year plus about the backup center position for the Spurs and how crucial it is to holding on to that rope and to hanging on in these games, hanging on in the Wemby-less minutes. That Heat game, Biyombo overmatched, obviously. +3. Let's go.
And
shout out Bismack.
2
Biyombo.
very hard screens.
Bismack, you did awesome. But with Cornette coming back, and I like what you're saying with Sohan. The flexibility that Sohan offers. But I'm leaning Cornette of those two. But Sohan is a guy who also could, be a starter on this team sooner rather than later. So, we'll see how much longer Harrison Barnes is in the starting lineup.
I don't think Harrison's going anywhere. I think the team cares about his streak, his Iron Man streak. I think he cares about it. I think he has to fall off a cliff to drop out of the starting
And that
lineup.
corner 3-point shooting is just going to be crucial to what the team's.
Like you said, that's where they're attacking it. But speaking of, it's been a small data sample, but we're finally 5 games in, 1/16 of the way through the season. We do have some data samples. We do have some things that kind of maybe are showing us. So, kind of my quick question for y'all. There's a lot of good things going on, but what are y'all thinking that makes this Spurs team different? Zach, I'm going to let you go off first.
Rebounding. They won the rebounding battle in all 5 games to start the season. I love that. They're getting on the offensive glass. They're making teams work. They're making teams feel them. I think rebounding has been a big... people were on Wemby last year saying, why is he not... Well, Wemby's leading the league in rebounds.
Yep.
They're getting... Keldon Johnson has figured out his role. Less points per game, way more rebounding. Get your butt in the paint. No one can stop you.
You see him or Dylan Harper, especially when they come off the bench, that there's more of an emphasis on offensive rebounding, and one of them is always cutting on the weak side to go get that offensive board.
So rebounding, that was a big... the last few seasons, it's get a board and end this damn game. And we saw it in the Heat game, they were the ones getting the boards to end the game, to really solidify and kill the game off, and that's what I love to see.
Yeah. What about you, Tom?
It's the composure and the coaching. I've been covering this team for 10 years. I've seen all of the lean years. In those lean years, I can't tell you how many 40 to 45 minute games I've seen the San Antonio Spurs play, where there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff that made you say, man, there's something here. I like this guy. I believe in this team. I believe in this. I know that one day this will be good, but today is not that day because in the last 3 minutes of the game, they crap down their leg and, let go. Made mistakes, got overpowered, got outmatched. There's no more of that. There's attention to detail. There's figuring out ways to win, and it's different every time. And also Wemby, I think probably is a big one.
Yeah. I think we've already kind of brought it up, and the team's brought it up in a number of press conferences. It's just they're tired of losing, but the development that they've had through that, and that's kind of something. Last few years, I've always been looking at like, okay, to your point, Tom, there's something here, but just the dudes are tired of losing. They're like, do not want to feel this anymore. They're ultra competitive folks. They're doing that. I'll do one last quick question before we roll on to our game previews. Who gets most heated during games? Mitch Johnson, Sean Sweeney, or Zach Montana?
The coaches have a high bar to clear.
They do have a high bar to clear.
Zach's passion is barely held back by his mustache, and now that we're at the games with press credentials on, like that was the biggest adjustment for me when I started doing this was learning how to control myself and sort of take the fan hat off for that time when you're sitting there and at the Nets game we're all sitting there and. You were doing good.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah, I can see it.
There's an effort put in. I'm like, I need to be prepared for this.
Still, there are moments when he's, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, Zach, you got to clap in your head.
There's already a lot of clapping going on in the head.
Yeah.
Right. It's the monkey with
The monkeys, yes.
Are you in agreement? You think it's you?
It's definitely me. My poor neighbors on Thursday, man. I was getting into the game, and I'm in a new apartment complex, and I'm in my new apartment in my same complex, and I'm like, man, my new neighbors probably like, what the hell is going on?
They're calling noise complaints. He's having a crazy party, and they go in and it's just
me and the
full
shirt off.
Sweat.
Let's go.
Just shirt off, bleeding, like.
What happened here? Spurs won. That's what happened.
They're like, all right, carry on. So.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with y'all. So. Just because we're running a bit long, let's jump into the next week. We got a really interesting slate of games between the Suns, then we'll play the Lakers, the Rockets for an NBA Cup game, and then the Pelicans to close off the week between now and the next show. Phoenix Suns, the Spurs are going to go on a little West Coast road trip out to Phoenix, playing tomorrow night, Sunday night against them. Devin Booker, still doing Devin Booker shit. Averaging 30 plus. They actually won last night in their game against the Jazz. It was a little bit of a rubber match. A couple things to note about this team here. They're not very good, but they're a high variance team in the sense that they take, I believe, the fourth most. No, they're fourth in makes. And they are, I believe, second in free 3-point attempts. So part of the reason, though, for that is because they're down in a lot of games. So they're coming back. Mark Williams is finally playing for them. They've had a little bit of a lack of center depth there. Zach, to your point, though, on Jeremy Sohan, I'm glad you brought this up. If he's back for this game, make Devin Booker's life hell. You can throw out Stephon Castle at him. You can throw Jeremy Sohan. You can even throw Dylan Harper at him. I think he's a pretty solid defender for this one. So their defense is terrible. They're bad. We should win this game on paper, but what I'm worried about is much like the Nets game, might be a little closer than we think because of their 3-point shooting. What do you guys got?
I think Suns defense is boo-boo right now, as you said. It was really funny before the season. I think it was Bill Simmons said, somebody predicted the Suns are gonna have the worst defense in the league. And Suns governor Matt Ishbia was really upset about this and tweeted at him and was like, let's put some money on it. and they're like the 29th best defense in the NBA right now.
Maybe an owner should not also be betting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like we should probably clean up that language a little bit.
Yeah,
you
side
know?
bet, yeah.
Or just don't make it public.
Right.
Yeah, if you could text that.
Don't tell nobody. Do it in a private, group message or poker game or whatever. But Spurs cannot drop this game if it's close. It's because they're not rotating well on the perimeter. That's something that we've talked about that they need to do a good job of, because we know that nobody wants to shoot over Wemby. Nobody wants to go at Wemby. It's going to, when people drive, they're going to see that guy and say, oh, never mind, and they're going to pass out to somebody on the perimeter. Make sure that the person that they're passing it to has a body on them. This game should, and I think will further enrage the people who are mad online that the Spurs haven't played anybody good. And
Were they supposed to lose?
it's like this is the first time that's the case for this team in many years. You understand? Like
What's great about that is obviously the Spurs made their schedule.
Right, yeah,
You know,
yeah. We
like-
totally picked.
but further, the thing that I think is other NBA teams are going to have to get used to is that's just going to be 25 NBA teams from here on out. Is like they're not that good compared to the Spurs.
This year especially.
So
what do you got, Zach?
Get used to it.
Take advantage of a team trying to figure out who they are to start the season. I think that everyone's trying to find their footing and trying to find who they are, identity of this team. I think the Spurs know what they are and know what they're about. Some teams are. I think the Suns are a team that way. They're still trying to find identity. Take advantage of it. 2 days off, come in fresh, hit them in the mouth. I think it's a pretty simple game plan.
Agreed. Next game
is going to be the Spurs' toughest of the season so far. I think.
1,000%.
Well, I mean, it's next game and then it's the game after against the Rockets.
Right.
And really interesting stat here. Victor Wembanyama and your people, I hope you are listening to this. Okay? You have never beaten Luka Doncic. Victor Wembanyama has never beaten a Luka Doncic-led team. Just let everybody sit with that for a second. Go out there and do it, big fella. That's the next test. This is Luka Doncic. The Lakers are going to be playing in their purple unis, which hopefully they're going back to more that 2003 purple, which I thought was better. This like midnight purple sucks. But Luka came back last night against the Grizzlies, put up a casual 40 points.
He looked ridiculous.
Stephon Castle, don't go for that pump fake. Dylan Harper, you're going for that pump fake because you're a rookie. And Jeremy Sohan, get in his pants if you're playing, because we got to throw bodies at this dude. And then further, Austin Reeves has been on a heater. He is also in the top 10 right now in the league in point scoring at like 34.5. What do you guys got on this game?
This could be, as Tom alluded to, this could be the most difficult match of the season. 2 days off after the game against the Suns. Another, as Mitch alluded to, you don't really get a lot of 2 days off during the season. So take advantage of it, get the body right. Late game in LA. Aiden and Wemby are in top 5 of field goal percentage of the paint that they're holding teams to. So
DeAndre Ayton shoots in the paint?
no, defense.
Oh, okay.
So
I was like,
defensive, the field goal percentage they're holding their teams to, they're both top 5. So they're both playing well. I think this is a good matchup for Wemby to take it. Go right. Wemby loves matching up against other big men, and you could tell that they're going to put a center on Wemby. Good luck.
Luka has been going nuts this year, and the bulletin board material that you just gave Wemby, he obviously doesn't need any, but he also obviously still does use it.
Right.
And I think I saw a stat that was like Luka and Wilt are the only guys with 40 plus in each of their first 3 games of a season. He'd be right there in MVP talks if he didn't get banged up. So this is a game where I'm excited to see who's checking him between Fox, Castle, Sohan. Sohan is a guy who has really, really annoyed Luka Doncic over the course of their careers. Luka obviously is always going to get his, but you just make it as irritating as possible for him to get as few points as you can hold him to. So big game. The Lakers are, you know, I think still figuring some stuff out identity-wise. But this is going to be a rock fight.
They can be had. The Lakers can. The team I'm honestly more concerned about is our next game, which is going to be the Battle of Texas. Number one offense in the league currently, according to Kirk Goldsberry, versus the number one defense in the league with the Spurs. Rockets are coming to San Antonio. It's going to be our first NBA Cup game. Statement jersey debut. Eli, if you can go to this game, go wear that new Wemby jersey.
If you give me your address and time.
But all that being said, this is the one we need French vanilla on. And this might be a lot of French vanilla between Şengün and Steven Adams. They are still doing this crazy offensive rebounding clinic across the league. Right now, when they miss a ball, they have a 50% chance of getting it back. That's why their offense is good. They don't really have a point guard. They just put Josh Okogie in the starting lineup with them. And they have a lot of long bodies to throw at you. But, I think it's winnable. I feel like Frostbank Center is going to be particularly lit for an interstate rival, or an in-state rival, I should say. The way we're winning this game, though, is from the three-point line. We got to up our attempts on this one. I think right now we're about 11th in efficiency, but we're pretty low in attempts, in the lower half of the league. So that, I think, give that spread. Don't have these two double bigs, double down on Wemby. What do you guys got?
You mentioned a rock fight against the Lakers. This is going to be the true rock fight of the week. We know how the Rockets love playing Wemby on that pick and roll. They'll put four in the paint. And as AB said, if you're not going to be able to beat him, the only way to beat him is to shoot him out of that and make him respect you from the three-point line. And Ime clearly did not respect what the Spurs were doing last year. That's why they put four in the paint. There's a picture that I could post right now that Wemby is in the paint with 5 Rockets guys around him. You don't really see that against any other player or against any other team. The Spurs are going to have to make him respect him and make him feel him. This is a great opportunity to really show who you are. Cup game, little extra incentive. Interstate rival, little extra incentive. And we know that these two teams don't like each other. And we know this based off the way Wemby talked about the Rockets. Amin Thompson and Jeremy Sohan getting in a fight last year. These teams don't like each other.
Amen will swing on someone too.
So, you know what? Wemby's I'm relishy being the bully. It's time to be a bully right here.
This is going to be strength on strength, right? Great offense, great defense, and the Rockets' offense being as good as it is, despite not having a point guard, I think really speaks to how good Alperen Şengün is. He's really, really good. Don't put him in no Wemby conversations, but he's really, really good. And he's so good, in fact, that a game or two ago, they were doubling off of Kevin Durant to try to handle him in the post, and Şengün was like, I couldn't believe they were doing that. I couldn't believe they were leaving you open. And so it's kind of a throwback style, right? And so I think Wemby's ability to contain Şengün in the post is going to be crucial on the defensive end of the floor. I'm interested to see, if they're going with Adams and Şengün, do we get Sohan over Barnes just because of the defensive ability to rebound and physically hang with a guy like Steven Adams? You need as many healthy guys as possible in that front court. So, and let the hate out,
No, really embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace the disdain for this team.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Ime Udoka's probably going to say something incredibly inappropriate, and it'll be incredibly entertaining. And then it's going to be a back-to-back against the Pelicans to round out the week between now and our next show. The Pelicans, while they took us to overtime in their first game with them, it was our second game, repeating a team. They've really fallen off a cliff. Outside of Brooklyn, they're the 29th best team in the league. Even with skinny Zion, it's just kind of, I think this kind of goes to the ebbs and flows of a season. I think losses kind of pile up, various hits to your ego, that sort of thing. They're not very good. I would like to see the Spurs, if there is going to be a get-right game this week, it's going to be against the Pelicans the next day. Don't play with your food this time. They are really bad. What do I have here? Oh, yeah. They are dead-ass last in effective field goal percentage from
That's
an
what you
offensive
have there.
standpoint.
Dead ass last.
Yeah, they are very bad. And once again, this would be a great... I'm assuming De'Aaron Fox is coming back this week.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that gave Wemby fits in the last game was that zone with some of their longer guys. What we really want to see in this is penetration between him, De'Aaron Fox, Castle, and Harper to open things up for more drive and kick. Have that zone kind of collapse on themselves. What do you guys got?
This is a much needed bring your own energy game. You know, especially after probably a hard fought battle against the Rockets the night before. If it's a win, team will be coming off a lull, and like you gotta come back and bring it again. And knowing how bad this Pelicans team is at the moment. Once again, it's what we talked about when they played them last Friday. You got to bring your own energy to these type of games. This is the type of one. Hey, we need to get this. This is a must win basketball game.
The Pelicans are like pretty rough on the basketball court.
Yeah, I know.
Right now, the front office is
Worse.
full on Chernobyl. Like, let's just think about this for a second. They essentially traded 2 picks that are projected top 3 lottery odds in their own and Indiana's for Derek Queen.
A 14th pick.
They traded.
Who is okay.
Yeah,
Not worth
But
2 top 3
agreed.
He's an all right player.
I don't want to slander Derek Queen. He's very young in his career.
It's not about him.
Yeah.
And some of it is bad luck. They traded the Pacers their pick back, and a couple days later, Halliburton, tears his shit, right? But like, oh my God, it's a disaster over there. And when the vibes are bad, obviously it's hard for the players to compartmentalize and do that. But also, you got to be careful for the wounded animal is most dangerous kind of thing. They got some frustration to take out. So don't let them take it out on you.
They do whispers about Willie Green already being on the hot seat in the 5 games. So we'll see. All right. 4 games this week. There's a lot of work that we're going to have to put in this week, fellas.
That's fine.
Fine by me. But, okay, record for the week. What do we got, Zach? You going 3-1?
3-1.
Okay. Tom? Which one are we losing?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
You know what? I said it last week.
You're
I'm gonna
letting the
say
good times roll.
double down, quadruple
down.
This team had. Somebody said that Victor. It was Jeff McDonald said Victor hasn't lost since he played for Team Chuck. Keep it rolling.
Dylan Harper has never
not?
lost.
Why
in the
not?
Spurs
Why
jersey.
not get the first 9-0 start in Spurs history?
Why not?
All right.
AB?
I'm going 3-1.
Okay.
I was wrong. I just want to own this part. I was wrong. I was the
of you.
only one last week that said we were going to lose a game. Tom and Zach, kudos to y'all.
Thank you.
So far, I'm behind with everyone else in the season. So I think that we're going to go 3-1. I am nervous about the Lakers or the Rockets game.
That's where I'm at right now.
I'm more nervous about the Rockets game than I am the Lakers game just because of the bodies they can throw at us.
Those are the ones that if they lost, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
So
I also it just feels.
Tom's
different,
got the
man.
dice in his
Feels
hand right
different.
now. He's rolling the hot hand. He's just like, oh, and everybody around the craps table
Yeah,
is
it's
like,
give back the dice. Yeah, give the dice.
And Tom is
Do
just
it
like
again.
in the moment, like, yeah, baby. And we're gonna.
No one's touching him. He's hot.
And to be clear, for all the people who will call me a delusional homer,
Well,
yes.
Well, yeah.
But this is the first time that my homerism and optimism has been
Rewarded?
supported,
Yeah.
and in line with the reality of this situation.
Tell him to pull the thumb last year. We did a bunch of undefeated weeks in there.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was the first couple months of the season, but
You know,
hey,
but it's good times, baby.
let's let the good times roll. And that's the end of this episode of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour. Find us on Twitter, on Instagram. You can also find us individually. Like and subscribe. We would love to have comments be questions ahead of the next episode. If you're at the Frost Bank Center this next week, we will be there. So what do you guys got to say before we're rolling out?
Just thankful and blessed. Thanks for everyone for tuning in and subscribing and being a part of the journey in the community, because it's the train is just leaving the station and we got a long ways to go.
Same. It's exciting. It's been so wonderful to see you guys out at the games. I feel like every time I'm out there, I'm bumping into folks who are recognizing us and saying, "Hey, you do that Silver Black Coffee Hour," and yes, we do.
We do.
When you see us, come say hi.
We do not bite. We love to talk basketball.
Yeah, we only bite each other sometimes.
That's not true. Anyway, we'll see y'all next time. We'll see y'all next time in a week. So, peace.
That is not true. Don't put that out there on the public.